In today's video, we'll be talking about 10 LEGO Star Wars minifigures under $15 that I recommend picking up. Let's talk about it. So yes, welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video. In this series I do here on my channel, I like to go over 10 LEGO Star Wars minifigures in a certain price bracket that I feel like are undervalued or underpriced for who they are and what they are. And basically at that point, I recommend picking them up now before they could potentially go up way higher in the future. So yeah, this video, guys, I've got a good variety of minifigures between the prices of $10 and $15. All USA prices, of course, based off of bricklink.com. If you guys are in a different country, you guys can probably even get these cheaper. So without further ado, guys, let's start off, guys, with number 10. We have the Han Solo 2015 Endor version. This one right here is the only Han Solo and Endor outfit we've ever actually gotten, and surprisingly, for some reason, this minifigure is only about $13 on the higher end of about 13 to low end 14. And yeah, I definitely think this is pretty crazy, you know, for being the only Endor Han Solo we've ever gotten, and you know, very nicely detailed at that point too. You know, 2015 minifigure, you know, a nice amount of leg printing, nice amount of torso printing, and overall, I think for, you know, sub $15, I definitely think it's a nice one. You guys can add to your collection, and you know, until we get the next one, which might be coming out sooner than we think, you know, next year Endor sets, you know, 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi, we could potentially get a new Han Solo and Endor outfit. But I think for what it's worth right now, I think for under $15, I definitely recommend picking this guy up. Next one, we have the Bespin Luke, the new version from 2018. So this minifigure right here is actually going for a little less than $10, roughly about $8.50 to $9.50. And this is a minifigure right here. I think you know, it was a stellar you know, print job. I really think it's a good minifigure overall, and probably the best Luke minifigure we've ever gotten. And this one right here, I want to say probably pick it up now because there's a couple things going for it. First off, you know, initially it was only ever in the Cloud City set from 2018, and this minifigure was at one point like a $20 to $30 minifigure. And then he came out in the Bespin dual set, which of course at that point brought him down a little bit, just a little bit, but of course he was still pretty rare. And then later on in 2020, he was actually in a foil bag, and that pretty much brought him back down to the sub $10 price point because I know the foil bags are very cheap, especially in other countries. And I think for what it's worth, I think it might be a little while until we see another Bespin Luke remake. And I think this version here, you know, once the supply drops, you know, based off that foil bag, once, you know, people start selling through all those, you know, this minifigure I feel like can get back up into that, you know, high, maybe, you know, $19, $20, $21 range eventually. So I think right now for about $8, I definitely think it's a steal right now. Brand new condition as well, so you can't ever go wrong with that. Next up, we have Mon Mothma here. This is one I really want to talk about because a little interesting with this one. So usually Mon Mothma right now is about a $20 to $25 minifigure. But of course, before the Andor show came out, people were kind of buying her up. I myself was buying, you know, quite a few. I was partying a couple, you know, together the legitimate way. But somehow there's a store on Bricklink right now that has like 75 of them for under $10 each. They got a $20 minimum. So in my opinion, you know, they have quite a few other things on their store. But you know, even if you want to buy, say, 2 Mon Mothmas and say a couple other things, I definitely think you're pretty much getting 2 for the price of 1. You know, usually I don't like promoting like other stores like that because again, you know, how did this guy get 75 of them? I want to say it was probably not a legit way, since even parting them together, you know, the torso is already like a $4 torso. So in order to be able to sell that entire minifigure for under $10, either they're not making any money or they got them sourced from some, you know, Mexico factory somewhere, you know, 10 years down the line. But yeah, so right here, I mean, I just want to say this right here. I definitely think it's a great deal. Kind of cutting out of my own business since I'm selling quite a few for you know, that low $20 range too, which is what they're actually going for. But I think, you know, if you want to pick up a couple of these from this store, I think for under $10, I'll be the first one to say it's a great deal. And you know, until we get the next Mon Mothma, which might be sooner than we think, you know, due to Andor, but honestly, I don't think they'll be making too many more Andor sets in the near future. So I think Mon Mothma for under $10 is a great deal, and I recommend her. Next up, we have the new Nute Gunray right here. So this is a minifigure that is probably pretty under the radar. A lot of people probably don't think of Nute Gunray, you know, when we think of LEGO Star Wars minifigures, and he's actually going for probably, you know, right on the money of about 15 bucks, right under 15, maybe a little over 15. But I definitely think this is the best Nute Gunray that I think we can ever really get, based off of, you know, episode 3, of course, you know, live action, and much better than the Clone Wars version. A lot of print detail, nice slope, a nice headpiece, and overall, I think, you know, for your Separatist army, if you want to, you know, include him in a mock, you know, Separatist leader, I think for right about 15 bucks is a fantastic deal just for the amount of quality and you know, plastic and design you're getting on that minifigure. So there's that one. Next up, we have Rako Hardeen. This is another one of those minifigures where over years somehow he's become very easy to actually obtain. He's only going for right over $10, and this is a minifigure where again, I don't really think there's much more room for him to ever grow until we see Rako Hardeen in another form of media. But at that point, I think that's basically non-existent. But I have to think, you know, for right over $10, adding another unique LEGO Star Wars minifigure to your collection is definitely a great deal. Next up, we have the Kira in the tan jacket right here, going for right over $10. And of course, there was a big rumor she was going to show up in Book of Boba Fett. She did not, and you know, she showed up in a couple comics, I believe. I don't read the comics, but the canon comics, I believe, like the Darth Vader ones over the past couple years. I believe she's actually shown up in there. Of course, originated over in Solo back in 2018, and in my opinion, a great character. I think for what it's worth, the entire Solo movie and the entire kind of subplot line of like Crimson Dawn and Kira and Darth Maul, all that type of stuff, I'm a huge fan of it. I wish they made Solo 2. I wish they made a Solo TV series to kind of go off of it, or a Crimson Dawn TV series. So, but I think overall, Kira will continue to have a place in Star Wars media, whether it's going to be sooner or later. And I think for what it's worth, Kira tan jacket for $10. Really any of the Kiras, but I feel like for long term, the tan jacket version is probably going to be the version that, say, if she shows up in another show somewhere, she'll probably be wearing like the tan jacket, that she wore throughout the movie, compared to, say, the fur coat. You know what I mean? Unless she's like on Hoth in the TV series, that she's in. But I think for what it's worth, I think Kira tan jacket for right over $10 is a great deal. Next up, we have Jace Malcolm here for only $14, and this one I had no clue was this cheap, because a lot of the other Old Republic minifigures are $50, $100, $150, and Jace Malcolm, I think the one thing going against him is he has no helmet. If he came with a helmet in that set, I really strongly think right now he'd probably be every bit of a $40 or $50 minifigure, but no helmet, and I feel like, look, I mean, people got to know who Jace Malcolm is, right? I mean, he was in all three of the, or I guess 2 out of the 3 Old Republic cinematic trailers from 10 years ago, of course, in the game back then, of course, itself, but I just actually rewatched those trailers the other day. That's what made me think about him in this video, and then I realized also a couple months ago there was someone on a Whatnot auction selling quite a few of them, and they were only going off for like a little over $15, and I'm like, really now? Like, are these just not great deals? And no, Jace Malcolm himself is only literally like $14 or $15 right now, which again, I think for adding a little bit of uniqueness to your Lego Star Wars minifigure collection, and just overall for the design, I mean, they did a great job on him. Again, I think 2 things maybe, I wish they would have color coded him and the regular Old Republic troopers the same, whether they made him all red or all orange, and also if he had his helmet, I think he'd be a much better minifigure. But I think right now for $14, I mean, I don't think we'll ever get him again, and I think that's a fantastic deal. So next up, we actually have the OG Yoda from back, literally 15, 20 years ago at this point. And as much as I think this minifigure doesn't really hold up to today's standards, I think it's a all-time classic for Lego Star Wars. So he's only going for right over $10, which I think is a hell of a steal. You throw a chrome lightsaber on him, you throw a nice blade in there, and he's a very beautiful display piece. I'm actually looking at him up there in my case right now, and he definitely stands out. Like, I mean, it's just like a classic Lego Star Wars minifigure that I feel like for right at like a $10 bill is definitely worth it. So next up, moving on to the final 2. We have the new Bossk minifigure right here, right at $15 right now. So I'm going to say this guy right here because I definitely recommend getting him before it's too late, because even back when in Book of Boba Fett there was strong rumors that he was going to show up, this minifigure got up to a $30, $35 minifigure. I'll be the first one to say, again, I think as always, quite a few of us, I bought up quite a few Bossk beforehand. You know what I mean? I bought 7 or 8 of them, and just throughout the hype of Book of Boba Fett, when everyone was thinking he was going to show up, I sold 2 of them for $35 each. So at this point, I think $15 is, I think it's a steal, because I think until we get the next one, there's always going to be those people that think, hey, look, he might be showing up in this, or might be showing up in that. And I think, I kind of mentioned this in a couple videos ago, I think this new Bossk minifigure is like a perfect design. I really don't think there's too much more they could have done for this minifigure. And so I think at $15, I think overall as is, and for what he could potentially be, I definitely think it's a great deal. But moving on to number 1 right here, guys, in no particular order, of course, I just wanted to throw this one in here because I wanted to kind of help you guys out a little bit, also kind of promote myself a little bit. We have the 2020 General Veers right now, which is going for right at about $15, 14 to $15, and I want to then tell you guys a little trick on how to make them even more expensive. So if you guys take him, the 2020 Veers, you guys get a pair of dual molded legs in dark blue, gray, and black, put them on there instead of the regular legs he comes with, then he turns into about a $35 or $40 minifigure. So a little self-promotion here. Again, I don't really like ever doing this, but it seemed to work out last time. Quite a few of you guys, used the little free shipping code that I put on there, and got yourself a couple pairs of legs. But I do sell in my Bricklink store quite a few of those dual molded legs in all colors. If you guys do need them for any of your minifigures, especially General Veers right now, you guys can buy a $15 Veers, buy a $3 pair of legs, and then turn them into a $35, $40 minifigure. Indie Brick Den over on Bricklink, and then use code, honestly at this point, use code, just say Veers. Just put Veers in the order notes, and I'll refund your shipping. So yeah, that's basically it for number 1, guys. I wanted to just let you guys know again on that little deal, you guys can turn a $15 minifigure into a $40 minifigure with just the addition of a $3 favorite part. So that's everything for today's video, guys. I wanted to go over a couple more cheap minifigures. You guys seem to really like this series. I did a couple other ones, and you guys are really killing it with the views and the likes and the engagement. So I really do appreciate it. I'm going to probably do another one in the ranges of 15 to 20 and then 20 to 25, and probably at that point cut it off. I think, I think anything over 25 realistically should be in the expensive Lego Star Wars minifigure series. So I'm going to probably do those, kind of try to spread them out a little bit over the next month or two. But that's all, guys, for this video. I'll leave your thoughts down below on these minifigures. Do you guys own any? Is there any other Lego Star Wars minifigures in this price range that I missed that you think I should have put on here? And as always, guys, that's all for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for you guys later. Bye, guys, and stay safe.